Oh,
All right, and here we go. Welcome back to Inside the Cage. I'm your host, Braden Johnson, here with me. Usually, as always, is Bennett Ferguson, but he's not here today. But introducing Zach, who's been on the show before, works partially with Inside the Cage. We would normally work a lot, but we're busy. We got other life things that we got to do. We're grown. We got jobs, so we got to do those.
yeah.
But other than that, Zach, tell everybody how you doing.
Doing good. It's been a while since I've actually legitimately been on the show, but
I know the last time you disconnected when we tried to do the March Madness bracket show.
yeah, no, my internet was just not having it that day.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a good way to keep this. It's not professional, but it's fine.
It doesn't matter as long as you got it up. But anyways, Inside the Cage. Today we're going to talk about NFL power rankings. Obviously, NFL season is 49 days
Okay.
away. I think it's 49 days away.
I think I buffered out.
NFL is 49 days away, and it's right around the corner. So we're going to get these power rankings going, and we'll see. We might towards the end talk about some free agents that are still available, like Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, other guys like that. Zach disappeared. But anyways, that's what we're gonna be mainly talking about. We will see what we can do here. Oh, he's back. Zach is back.
Yeah, Siri. Oh no! I shouldn't have said that. Apple's assistant decided to activate, and that made my phone shit itself.
All right, so I'm gonna let Zach pull up his stats real quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna get last.
He's having technical difficulties right now.
And I gotta get last year's power rankings. Got back up. I can't find anywhere to put this. So 2025 standings. Dude, that Super Bowl last year was such bullshit.
It was so boring.
Dude, I was cooked by halftime already. That's how bad it was. Okay, that's last year's. Let's get last year's stat leaders out. Not bad. I just get.
All right, Zach, we're gonna start with you in 32.
Start number 32.
Yep.
Straight race to the bottom. There's honestly two teams that I'm thinking of, and I'm not sure which one to actually say.
See, it doesn't really matter at this point. I mean, I think it's 32A and 32B. I really wouldn't even call it 31 and 32. I would call it 32A and 32B here.
Because I really feel like the Cardinals and the Jets are just going to be bottom of the barrel next year.
See, I think it's going to be Miami because I don't know how. I'm not sleeping on Malik Willis. I think he's going to be.
Oh yeah, because they got rid of him. What's his name?
Yeah, Tyreek Hill and all them.
Yeah, they got rid of all their good players. I kind of forgot.
But look, I believe in Malik Willis, but I don't know how he's going to do with this terrible.
He's got nobody on his team,
and then they have no corners either. So I look at that defense. I'm like, your back end is going to struggle. Your front end might be okay this year. Your linebackers will be decent, and then you have nobody in the back end to help you cover the football in Miami. So, I mean, we've got possibly 4 teams here that could possibly get this 32 spot: Cleveland, the Jets, the Cardinals, and the Dolphins.
Yeah.
So
the Jets are. I mean, yeah. So, but I think so. But I still think the Cardinals are probably a safe bet to be the worst, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, just looking at their roster for next year. It's bad. It is bad.
It is really bad.
They're starting Carson Beck. I know Jacoby Brissett. I mean,
Yeah.
well, I mean Brissett isn't terrible, but they're probably going to bench him for someone else that's going to actually cause him.
Brissett's not bad.
And behind that, I do have Gardner Minshew, but he's not. He's an okay quarterback. Minshew magic.
Yeah. Little Minshew magic.
Their offense is going to entirely be Jeremiah Love and
Marvin Harrison, Michael Wilson's pretty good. Trey McBride is also good as well.
Yeah.
So they have a good, really good offense, and I like their offensive line as well. They improved a whole lot on the offensive line. So their offense isn't my concern. Their defense is my concern right now.
Oh god, because they're probably already starting the year down without Walter Nolan.
Yeah, their defense is my biggest concern right now. I don't know how that defense is.
Pretty solid D tackle last year.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how that defense is going to look for them. So I'm going to agree with you here. I think we should put either Arizona or Miami here. I think, to me.
Whoever we don't at 32 is 31.
Yeah. So it's up to you. You're the one. You got 32. So who did I put at 20 on my power? Dang. Can I just undo that?
Let's.
Dallas.
Let me find the cards on here. Plus, the Cardinals can suck anyways. I have no issue watching them be bad.
Yeah.
After what they did to Jake Delhomme, it's just they can be bad forever. They are. So we'll put them 32. Then we're going to do Miami at 31.
Yeah, we'll go. I'll if you put the Cardinals at 31, or 32. I'll put the Dolphins at 31.
Yeah, which I think is fair.
And then you're up with 29 or 30. You're up with 30. My fault. 30.
It's a tough between, because my thought is either the Jets, the Browns, or the Saints could all be here. Yeah, and the Titans. Tennessee is also.
I mean, you got to give some of these teams the benefit of the doubt. I think the Saints are going to be a little bit better than what people think they are, and I think the Titans are also going to be a little bit better than what people think they are. I just look at the Tennessee Titans do have a brutal schedule though. So the Saints have an easy schedule. So
they have a quarterback that's still adjusting to the league.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like the Giants might be not total shit because they have John Harbaugh now. Ugh, it's tough. I mean, kind of leaning towards the Browns just because. Who do they have at quarterback? Nobody.
Deshaun Watson, masseuse boy,
who hasn't been good since his last year.
I know.
Houston,
masseuse boy. That's who it is.
And then they might not have Quinshon Judkins or Jerry Jeudy, which Judy's not anywhere near his prime, anyways.
No, Judy's nowhere near anything.
It's just that's an abysmal roster. I'll give credit. Shedeur Sanders isn't a bad quarterback.
But he's not going to play right away because they've already named Deshaun Watson the starter.
but he is injury prone. But
It's pretty bad. But I mean, but anyways, who you gonna put at 30? The Browns.
yeah, I think the Browns probably have to go there.
I'm gonna agree with you. I mean, like I said, the 29 through 32 is really interchangeable. Any of these teams can go from 32 to 29, and it really wouldn't matter because people really wouldn't care because these teams suck. But at 29, I'm gonna go with the Jets here. I mean, you got to.
Yeah.
I think with what they lost and what they've gained has not helped them a whole lot. I still think they're the same team from last year, just with a shittier quarterback. So you are on the board with 28 in the power rankings.
28 in the rankings. I think this might be where I have to put the Titans. I think they could impress. I just don't know if they're ready to yet.
That's not a bad spot for them.
Because they have a really bad schedule, and their roster still is incomplete.
Yeah, you're right. You are right. It's not. Like I said, it's not a bad roster.
Because, I mean, they put Cam Ward with a bunch of veterans, but these are veterans at the end of their career.
Yeah.
Like, Tony Pollard's almost 30 now. Calvin Ridley is in his 30s, isn't he? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley's in his 30s. And then but I like the young stars that they've got on offense. They brought in Wan'Dale Robinson.
He was really good last year.
They got Alec Eilminer, who was by far their best receiver last year. And they just brought in the number 4 overall pick in Carnell Tate. So I look at that and it's like, look, there you go. You got Carnell Tate, you got Eilminer. You're going to still have Ridley, even though he's terrible. They did lose Chiggs Okonkwo, but they do have Gunnar Helm, who I thought was pretty decent as a tight end 2 last year. Now he's going to take that role as a tight end 1. So we will see what he can do as a starter.
I do like Jermaine Johnson though. He's not the most. He got some good sacks in last year.
I also like the John Franklin Myers pickup too as well. I think that was huge for the Titans to go get a guy to help Jeffrey Simmons, and they did that. And
yeah, because he was insane last year.
Yeah, he was absolutely phenomenal.
8 sacks.
But he also had the most pressures and the most hurries in the NFL as well. So it was absolutely insane. I'm going to agree with you with the Titans here. I think with their brutal schedule, the only reason why I think they've improved a whole lot on the offense and the defensive side. I just think with the brutal schedule that they have, where they have to play Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore, they've got to play Philly. I know they've got to play the Rams. So, yeah, they're going to have a brutal schedule throughout the whole year.
Yeah, they could be better than last year, but finish with a worse record just because of how awful their
schedule is. I think they'll be a good team. Like, they could show their athleticism and their talent, but with
they
their
could
schedule,
be a lot like the Panthers were in 2024.
Yeah,
when they went like 5 or 6 or like I forget what it was, 5-10 or 7-11.
Or you could be like the rebuilding Patriots from the year before.
Yeah,
where they had all the talent,
there.
And they're showing the flashes, but they just weren't there. I think that's what the Titans will have this year because of all this young talent, and they're not developed yet. Wait until this talent gets developed again. I still think they need a running back of some sort because I'm not a huge fan of Tony Pollard or Tajay Spears just yet. So I would like to see that. But at 27 here, I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons.
I agree fully. They're going to be terrible.
You signing Tua does not help your case. Michael Penix is still he's going to be out until week 5. It's what it's looking like. So Tua and Trevor Siemian. Trevor Siemian's probably going to play in week 3 and week 4 because Tua ain't going to be able to make it to week 3 or week 4. And with this roster, you cannot have a shitty quarterback go in there and help this roster, especially in the division that they're in. I mean, it's easy. They got an easy schedule this year. So do the Bucks, and so do the Panthers. The Saints are really the one. I mean, Saints got an easy schedule, but they got a tougher schedule than them three. So I look at it and I'm like, Atlanta, if Tua only wins you 4 games, and then Penix only wins you 4 games, okay, you're going 8-9 again. That's not good.
Yeah.
If you want to say you the top dog in your division, you need to win 11 or 12 games. I haven't seen that since 2 years ago when Tampa won like 11 or 12 games.
Yeah, it's when they went like I think 12-5 and then lost in the division or whatever.
Yep.
The other thing too is the Falcons don't use their players well. Like they have not used Kyle Pitts at all since they drafted him.
They have used Bijan, but I mean,
but Bijan's a different breed.
But Kyle Pitts is supposed to be a different breed too. A 6'6", unprototypical tight end that's absolutely a freak of nature.
I think he would have been good if he went. I think he would have been good if he went anywhere but Atlanta. They just do not know how to use him.
Yeah. All right, Zach, I'm going to go with you at 26. Me and you might have differencing opinions here.
I'm kind of feeling the Giants, honestly.
Ooh, we'll get to my Giants conversation here in a minute. I think they're
the Giants or the Saints?
I think they're a whole lot higher here. I went with Cincinnati.
Ooh, that's a good. I didn't think about that. Yeah, they're
even though they got Dexter Lawrence, they've got Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. They've got a great team. They can never stay healthy. I don't care. What anybody says. Oh, Joe Burrow can win it. That he hasn't been healthy since his rookie year.
He hasn't played a full season since that second year, I feel like.
Since that second year in the league, he hasn't played a full year because he got hurt in his rookie year, too.
And the thing with the Bengals is they might continue to get worse because I don't think they have the cap space to keep all these players on their team.
They're not going to be able to, and they just signed Dexter Lawrence to a $30 million deal.
Yeah, because you already are going to struggle to keep Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins all on the same roster.
But I also look at their defensive front. Jonathan Allen, who's 32 years old, you brought in. I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't bad last year, but, I mean, he's old. He's not as good as he used to be. And then you brought in Dexter Lawrence. Don't get me wrong. He's a top 5, top 3 defensive tackle in the league. But he's also up there in age.
Yeah, you only paid him, he was like a 2016-17 draft pick.
And you already paid him 2 years for $30 million. He's going to be, 32, 31 by the end of his contract? I mean, he's going to decline real fast, too, because the way he plays, he's going to decline it probably next year.
I mean, he went from 9 sacks in 2024 to not even 1 last year. I mean, that's granted, that was on the Giants. But
so I don't understand what the Bengals are doing there in that sense, but I only have them at 26 because of injuries. But I can see where you're coming from with the Saints, maybe. I'm not going to agree with you with the Giants, though. But the Saints, I can't agree with you there. So I'm at 25. So 25 for me is the Indianapolis Colts. I think they lost a lot on that offensive line, especially losing Braden Smith, your all-pro right tackle, to your division rival in the Houston Texans.
They don't have a quarterback.
And Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones was a fantasy football merchant last year until he got injured, but I just don't know if they're going to be able to pull off the same.
I don't think Daniel Jones is going to be the same person. And I think we've seen this at the Giants where Daniel Jones had 6 or 7 good games, and then he would fall off the cliff, which he did in Indianapolis. We saw it. He had 5 or 6 good games, and then he fell off the cliff. He lost 2 in a row, and then he got hurt. No, hurt wasn't his fault. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But we saw 2 losses in a row from the Colts that didn't lose a game yet. And it was odd because we're like, how are you losing this game to this terrible team? But then I go back and I was thinking, Daniel Jones did the same thing with the New York Giants. Won 6 or 7 straight games and then would lose the rest of those games out.
Yeah.
And you're like, how? How do you possibly do that?
It was
So
insane.
this is why I have them at 25. They're also – I don't think Kenny Moore's going to play for them this year. They're all-pro corner. I mean, you got Sauce Gardner, but Sauce Gardner's going to need help in the back end. And then you lost a lot of players. Like I said, up front, you lost Braden Smith. You lost Danny Penner. You lost Will Fries. You still got Quentin Nelson. You still got Bernard Raymond. And you lost your center as well. So you've lost your center, both of your right guards that played last year, and your all-pro right tackle that was now with, like I said, with the Houston Texans. And wow, that's just I don't know what to say about the Colts here. I think they've not really improved a whole bunch.
Yeah. Okay. So to review, and now we're at about a quarter of the way through. Just as a recap, so we have Arizona at 32.
Yep.
Miami at 31. Cleveland at 30. The Jets at 29. Tennessee at 28.
28, yep.
Falcons at 27. Bengals 26 and Colts 25.
Yep.
And now number 4.
Number 24. I would put. I mean,
I'm feeling the Saints.
I'd put the Saints here. I could put the Saints here, but you never know in y'all's division what's gonna happen. But I could put the Saints here. They do have a tougher schedule.
I can tell you one thing: the Saints aren't winning the division next year.
They do have a tougher schedule than you all, but I do think they have a little bit better pieces than you.
Their
all.
running back room their running game is going to be solid. I'll say that.
No. They have better. I think they have a little bit better pieces than you offensively as a whole, because Jordan Tyson, Chris Olave is going to be unstoppable, unreal. You're going to have Etienne and Alvin Kamara in the backfield. That's insane too. So just those 4 players right there, I think, can cause havoc back there for them. And then Juwan Johnson, your tight end, he's still there. I think he's going to be really good too. He was a top 15 tight end last year. So I think he'll still be getting production. And Tyler Shuck wasn't bad as a rookie. I want to see what he does in year 2. But I think he will get somewhat done. We got to see how Jordan Tyson looks. Chris Olave, we already know how he looks. And I don't know who's going to play that receiver 3 role yet. But we will find out very soon, I'm sure, because, NFL is in 49 days. NFL season starts in 49 days, which is absolutely crazy.
It'll probably be Bryce Lance or Jalen Polk.
I think they had Devon Vele was their guy that they were trying to put at 3, but who knows at this point.
Not there anymore, I don't think. Okay, and now we're at 23.
Yep. That's with you. That's with me. That's me. That's me. I'm gonna put the Steelers here. Oh, and if Zach, if you don't know, you probably don't. I'm no longer a Steelers fan.
Wow, really?
Because they signed Mike McCarthy. So until Mike McCarthy leaves the Steelers, I won't like them anymore.
So who's your?
I'm a Titans fan because I'm a Vols fan for college. So I went with the Titans. I'm like, look. The Titans haven't been good since 2019, 2020.
What was their last winning record?
When they went to the AFC Championship, I think that was 2019.
They played the Bengals, didn't they?
No, they played the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game.
2021, they went 12-5.
Was that the year? I think that was the. Did they play the? They played the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. That's all I know. That's the last time they were good. Because they had A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, I'm looking at.
But if me 23, I'm gonna put the Steelers here. You.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with that either because their roster isn't.
I really thought that you brought in the same exact coach, but just the offensive mind instead of the defensive mind.
Now,
And,
granted, we do have Aaron Rodgers, so he could force some stuff, but
I also look at it like this. Aaron Rodgers is 40. He's going to be 42 years old. I don't know. He's got very limited limitations back there. He can't move like he used to. You lose your left guard to the Arizona Cardinals. Your veteran best offensive lineman, barring Zach Frazier, who's been really good for us as of late. But last year he wasn't that good. He was okay last year. Year one he was phenomenal. Last year he was okay. He had a little bit of injury issues, so I want to see what he's like year 3. McCormick was really good last year, and Fatanu was really good last year. But the question mark is the left side of the offensive line. You bring in rookie Max Inhanchor from Arizona State to possibly fill that left tackle role, and then you brought in another rookie from Iowa in Jennings Dunker to possibly play that guard role. But what it looks like is they're still going to start Broderick Jones. And if you have that left side with a not-so-good Broderick Jones or 2 rookies up there, I'm looking at that line, I'm like, that's Aaron Rodgers' blind side right now. You're going to have to move things around or sign some better. What's his name? Decker. Decker is still available right now in free agency. Pittsburgh. If you are the Steelers right now, I would go after Decker and put Max Inhanchor behind him so he can learn from a great all-pro offensive lineman so that he can be ready when his time has come. The Steelers sign him for just a year, and then next year Inhanchor becomes the starting tackle. But, right now you got Broderick Jones teaching Inhanchor how to do stuff, and you do not want that to happen now. And then I think Michael Pittman and DK Metcalf are the same exact receiver. So I don't know how that's going to be a fit. And then who's going to play your wide receiver 3 after losing Calvin Austin to the Giants? Is it going to be Roman Wilson, who has not been great? Is it going to be Jeremy Bernard, your second, third round pick from Alabama? He's not really a slot receiver. So how is he going to fit into the mix of that team? Is it going to be Ben Skoranek, who's been a part of the team for 50,000 freaking years? Who's it going to be? Or are they going to run Freiermuth in the slot and then put Darnell Washington at tight end? What are you going to do? I don't know. Pittsburgh Steelers have so many question marks. And they also have so many question marks. I will say, for the Steelers, great defensive backcourt right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bringing in Jamel Dean was phenomenal. Moving Jalen Ramsey back to the nickel spot because you're going to have Brisker and Elliott at safety, which is great safety duo. And then you're going to have Porter, Ramsey, and Jamel Dean at corner. I really think that they did improve at the corner position. D-line is still the same. I really think you did need to go after a linebacker. But
they do still have TJ Watt as well.
That's what I'm saying. They have Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig, Jack Sawyer, and TJ Watt. They still have Keanu Bitten, Y.A. Black. And they brought in Sebastian Joseph Day, and they still have Keanu Bitten and Cam Hayward. So they will be fine up front, I think. The back end is what killed them last year, and they improved on that a whole lot. So I really like the defense. I'm not really liking the offense this year for the Pittsburgh Steelers, though. Last year, it was the defensive issue, and they fixed it. It looked like this year it's an offensive issue. But can these players mesh? I don't know if Pittman, Metcalf, and say you put in Bernard. Bernard's an outside guy. He was at Alabama. He was never in the slot at Alabama. Metcalf is a 50-50 ball guy. And Pittman's also a 50-50 ball guy. Jeremy Bernard's a possession guy, but he's an outside guy. So how is that going to work with all three of them being outside guys with one of them having to play in the slot, which I don't think is going to work.
Yeah.
Now, if Roman Wilson comes to a Jesus moment and is like, oh, I can finally play football again, he will be a perfect slot receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But it's just, can he get out of his head and start playing football?
Yeah, don't know. They're just a wild card because they could be really good or really bad.
And their schedule's really tough this year too.
Yeah,
So
it's not great.
I think they go 5-10 or 6-11. And what if Aaron Rodgers goes down? Who's going to come in at quarterback? Because I don't think McCarthy likes Will Howard. I think he likes Drew Aller, who they drafted in the 3rd round. So is Will Howard going to be on the roster before camp? Because you can't get rid of Mason Rudolph at this point. He's making too much money. I don't think he's going to get rid of Drew Aller because he drafted Drew Aller to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Mike McCarthy drafted Drew Aller. So Will Howard is the odd man out here. So
yeah,
I don't know what you're going to do. I really don't know what you're going to do, but I have them at 23. Who's your pick 22?
22. It's between. We're now getting into where the teams aren't necessarily terrible, but they might not necessarily be good. It's. Hey, this is an ugly spot because you don't want to. I'm kind of leaning towards the Raiders or the Giants here.
I agree with you I can go with the Raiders here. I have the Raiders here at 22.
I think they have a promising team in next year, but this year I just feel like because they did a lot of patchwork with the draft.
I thought they drafted very well. Oh,
they did really well. It's just a team of rookies going out into the league is not always going to work out too well.
Yeah, but I also
they do have Kirk Cousins, who's not terrible. He's experienced.
And I keep hearing people saying, "Oh, Mendoza's going to start week 1." I don't think so. You're paying Kirk Cousins too much money to not start for you for the Raiders. I think what's going to happen is Kirk Cousins is going to start for the first 5, 6, possibly even 7 games, and they're like 3-4 or 2-5, and then they bring in Mendoza and see how he does, and then they take it from there. But I don't think Mendoza's going to start week 1. I think it'll be Kirk Cousins because of how much money he's making, and just because Clint Kubiak Clint Kubiak was his quarterback's coach in Minnesota. So, and Clint Kubiak is the head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. Everybody, so Clint Kubiak loves Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins will be the starting quarterback for them week 1.
Yeah, he's going to start most of the year. I mean, the biggest thing is just that they have a good running backs room. I mean, they have Ashton Jeanty and Mike Washington. That's a good, solid back. But their wide receiver core is just not. It's just not a very good looking room.
It's not. I mean, Jalen Tolbert's leading, or not Jalen Tolbert. Jalen Naylor's leading that room. I thought he had a really good season as a wide receiver 3 last year. But peep what I just said. Wide receivers 3. He's a good wide receiver 3. I don't know if he can be a wide receiver 1. Dante Thornton was a rookie last year. Didn't get a lot of touches. I think he's going to be their big number 1 50-50 ball threat. And then you have to put in fruition who's going to be your number 3. Because Jalen Naylor's probably going to be your number 2. Dante Thornton will probably be the number 1 just because of how big he is. And then who are you going to put at number 3? That's the real question. And then you got Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. Honestly, this is what I would do. I would go Dante Thornton, Jalen Naylor, Brock Bowers as the 3rd receiver in the slot. And then you bring in Michael Mayer at tight end. That's what I would do. And you play with those 4. And if one of them gets hurt, guess what? Okay, now we can see Jack Besh. Now we can see whoever at receivers.
Yeah.
And then we can move Brock Bowers back to tight end. Whatever happened. But I think you should go out with Dante Thornton because he's your biggest receiver you've got. You go with Jalen Naylor. You go with Brock Bowers. And then you go Michael Mayer at tight end with Ashton Jeanty in the backfield, Kirk Cousins at quarterback. I think that's a recipe for at least somewhat success for them. I'm not going to say they're going to be, 15-0, 11-5, but I can see them being 7-10, 8-9.
Yeah, they won't be nearly as terrible as they were last year.
They can win 9 games.
If all goes their way and they click together,
they can win 9 games. But I don't think that. I think their floor is 7 and their ceiling is 9 to me.
Yeah.
So, here at 21, I'm gonna go with the Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
I just need to see how all these new players mesh with them. I'm not saying that they're going to be a bad team. Their division's just going to be very, very, very tough. The Giants improved. The Eagles did lose a lot, but it's the Eagles. I can't count them out. And Dallas,
that's a rough division.
And Dallas every year, if they don't have injuries, they're always top 3 in efficiency, scoring, and points per game.
And they finally got rid of Mike McCarthy.
And they finally got rid of – yeah, that's true. They finally got rid of Mike McCarthy. So I want to see how it's going to level out in that division. But I still think that they go 10-7, 9-8, and barely miss out on the playoffs. But I think their division is going to be either one of the best in football or the second best in football, in my opinion.
Ooh, next one up is going to be tough. You're probably going to disagree with me here, but here's where I'm thinking either the Giants or maybe even the Vikings.
Oh,
I'm not too fond of the Vikings that come going into next year.
So look, you're going to hate me because I have both of those teams in my top 10.
Really?
Yeah, wow. I have both of those teams in my top 10. And I'll explain why when we get there.
Because then who would you suggest is here?
I would put Dallas here.
Yeah, I thought about them too.
Like I said, their offensive efficiency is still going to be top 3, top 2, possibly even number 1 in the NFL because they always do that every year. You'll be like, how the hell is Dallas not a number 1 team with the number 1 offense? Because their defense sucks. And their defense is still going to suck.
Yeah, that's not a good-looking defense at all. About half of it might not even start the year because they're injured.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're all going to be on the PUP list. So they're going to have a bunch of no-name guys and rookies play for them. So it's going to be a little bit rough on that defensive side. That's what I'm saying. I'd put Dallas here at 20. I think they'll possibly fight for a playoff spot, but I'd put Dallas here at 20. If it was me. And then at number 19, a lot of people are going to hate me and slander me for this. I'm going to put the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. I actually I'm not high on them either.
The Chiefs got a brutal schedule. And Mahomes might not be ready until week 6.
And their roster just isn't that good
and
anymore.
Justin Fields is your backup quarterback. And I don't know how he's going to look in this Chiefs offense. And the Chiefs got a brutal, first 5-6 games, too. I think you got 3 division games. You played Baltimore, and I think you played Buffalo as well. So that's not a good streak without Patrick Mahomes being at your quarterback position. Now, if they can somehow find a way to win those first 5 games without Mahomes, go 5-0, and then Mahomes comes back. But I highly doubt that they're going to do that. I think I
don't think they do that with Justin Fields. He is generationally awful.
I think they start the year 2-4, and Mahomes is going to have to play catch up, and it's going to be too late because then at the back half you're going to have to play the Chargers, the Raiders again, and then the Broncos twice. So
not only that, but Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy might not even start the season along with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, Xavier Worthy is dealing with a collarbone issue. It's not broken, but he's dealing with a collarbone issue. And Rashee Rice might not even play. He might get suspended. So
yeah, because he got into some issues.
So that's going to be the big issue there for that. Who's going to roll out a receiver for them? I mean, 5-year-old Travis Kelce can't do everything. He's not as good as he used to be.
No, he's not. He hasn't had 1,000 yards in like 5 years.
So I don't trust Travis Kelce anymore to help you out. Justin Fields, he's not going to be able to help you. You're going to have to find a way to win football games, and I don't think he can. We've seen it time and time again. Justin Fields cannot win football games. So I have Chiefs here at 19. Zach, who do you have here at 18? You might hate me because I have Carolina at 18.
I don't hate you for that one. I do disagree. But
have them second in the division.
Yeah, which is what most people have. This is at the point where the teams we're looking at aren't bad. It's just there's glaring issues that they have.
Yep. And
I as much as I like Trevor Lawrence, I really think Jacksonville might deserve this spot. I just have bad feeling about them this season.
I disagree because I don't think it's a Trevor Lawrence issue anymore.
It's not a Trevor Lawrence issue.
I think it's a Liam Cohen great success story, but I'm not going to discredit them. They've got all the talent in the world. My only issue for them is their offensive line and their running game. They did lose Travis Achane, is whatever he calls himself now. It'll still always be
a world breaker in the NFL as he was anyways.
It'll still be ETN no matter what. But ETN, you lost ETN and you lost some of your offensive linemen. So I wonder how that's going to do for them. But I still think they'll be a pretty decent team.
I think they'll be good. It's just I have this feeling that they're going to come out the year and they're going to go like disappoint, go like 10-7, whereas most people probably think they should go like 12-5 or 14-3.
Yeah, but we never know. They could go 10-7. They could go 14-3.
I don't think they're going to have a losing record. I just don't.
I don't think so either. I think they're too good not to have a losing record.
I think they'll win their division, but that's because their division is also.
Also, I would like to say their biggest loss was Devin Lloyd in the linebacker room. That's their biggest loss. They're going to have to find a way to. Well, I mean, they got Foyesade Aluakon, who's their captain, but they're going to have to find a way to replace Devin Lloyd, who's in Carolina. So, but who I don't. I mean, I have the Jags not too much higher, but I have them a little bit higher because I would say my 16, 17, and 18 are all interchangeable. It just depends on one certain thing with them. So 18, I had Carolina. It depends on Bryce Young. That's all on Bryce Young.
Yeah.
It's all on Bryce Young. I don't care how the defense looks. I don't care. The defense looks good this year, and the offense of weapons.
The defense has no excuse to not be one of the best in the league.
The offensive weapons looks good this year. It's all on Bryce Young. And then 17, I had Houston. So that would be, but it all depends on, only have them this low because it all depends on CJ Stroud. Can he be the guy? Because they should have went to the Super Bowl last year. Everybody and their mama knows. They should have went to. They had the best defense out there in the playoffs, beating up on teams. They made the Steelers look silly. I mean, everybody makes the Steelers look silly, but they made the Pats look out of sorts.
Yeah.
When they've been the highest scoring team all year, one of the highest scoring teams all year, they made them look like they didn't know what they were doing. And if CJ Stroud didn't have 5 turnovers, they probably would have won the game. And they'd probably be sitting there in Seattle, probably beating up on Seattle because I don't know if Seattle would have won that game because of how good that Houston defense is. And they just got even better on the defensive side of the ball. And they got better on offense.
Yeah, and that game was really weird too because CJ Stroud was a very efficient quarterback, except just he got to that one game and just couldn't stop turning it over.
And I'm going to say this. He has no excuse this year. He has an offensive line. He has a lot of weapons. He has probably the second best defense in the NFL. As we will get to we know who the top team is. They have the best defense in the NFL. But yeah. I think they have the second best defensive NFL. And if you don't get yourself if you don't win this division, which I don't have them winning the division because of CJ Stroud, but if you don't win the division or you don't become a top 3 seed with that defense, then I have some questions and I have some concerns. That's my question and concern.
Yeah, it's.
And then who do you have at 16?
You might disagree with this one, but it's 16. At 16, I'm going with the Buccaneers.
I actually agree with you. I have Tampa at 16. And it's only, like I said, it's the one player thing. Like I said, 16, 17, and 18 is interchangeable. 18, Carolina, Bryce Young, Houston, CJ Stroud. And it's Tampa with the loss of Mike Evans. Who's going to be number one? Ibuka's a slot receiver. I don't know if he can play on the outside. Godwin's a possession guy. He's not really that type of guy to, go deep down the field and be like, oh, I'm a 50-50 ball. I can make possessions happen. I do like the guy they got from Georgia State and Ted Hurst Jr., who's 6'4", 225. I think he's going to be a phenomenal piece there. But I
also got that guy from Oregon, Tez Johnson.
Yeah, but Tez Johnson's a little frail and a little skinny. I don't know if he's going to be – he's also a possession guy. He's not really a 50-50 ball. I mean, he's a deep threat because he's only fast. You can't – that's not going to work for them. They need a guy that can take the pressure off of Emeka Ibuka in the slot. They can take the pressure off of Chris Godwin in the slot. Tez Johnson, yes, he can go deep and he's fast, but that's not taking pressure off of Emeka Ibuka because Emeka Ibuka's fast and he can take pressure off of Chris Godwin. But if they're all just fast and run down the field, we've seen it before. We've seen it last year with the Kansas City Chiefs. It did not work out very well. So I look at you need Ted Hurst to be your developmental project because what I've seen what he could do at Texas or Georgia State, oh my God, if he can come in there and just do a little bit of what he did at Georgia State, they are going to be a team that you got to look out for. But like I said, losing Mike Evans, that's a huge loss. So this is why I have them this low. I still think they're going to be a very good football team. I have them slightly winning the division. But I still think they're going to be a very, very good football team. Their offense is going to be insane. Their defense got a little bit better.
Yeah, they had no excuse to not win 11 or 12 games.
But they also did lose their best corner in Jamel Dean. So I want to see how they look without having Jamel Dean at corner number 1. So, and then at 15, I have Chicago.
I was going to say that too.
I would have had them a little bit higher, but Caleb Williams is the cover of Madden. So that's my only reason why I have him down here. I like Ben Johnson. I like what he's doing. I like the defense that they got. But I'm only putting him here because Caleb Williams is the cover of Madden. And we know what happens when you are the cover athlete of Madden. You either suck, you get hurt, or you don't produce very well. You might get to the playoffs, but then you're gonna choke. That's your Madden curse right there.
Yeah.
Then who do you got at 14?
I'm gonna say the Ravens.
Oh wow. I was actually a little bit higher on the Ravens, but I can see where you're coming from here. I'm not mad at it.
Like, they're not a bad team. It's just something feels lackluster with them. One, they lost their coach. They fired him, so there's going to be an adjustment there, which I still think it was kind of dumb to fire John Harbaugh, but...
Oh, I thought it was idiotic. I'm like, why are you getting rid of a coach that's made you have success for all these years?
But I'm kind of concerned about Lamar Jackson because he's a great quarterback, but is he going to not get injured?
Yeah, and I also look at it, is he going to step up when it matters most? Because the Ravens seem to choke when it comes to big moments.
Because they had a lot of close games last year, and they just couldn't complete it.
Last year, Pittsburgh, you had a chance to go up 2 scores, and you threw a what I like to call a shrimp po' boy in the middle of the field. It didn't get picked off, but you threw a shrimp po' boy in the middle of the field, and it gets batted down by Jalen Ramsey, who hasn't been good for them, but supposedly he had a good game. And you let him bat it down in the middle of the field, and you could have went up 2 scores.
They only lost to the Bills by 1.
But then the Steelers, happened to score, and then Baltimore scored again, then Pittsburgh scored again, and Baltimore scored, and then they missed the field goal. But that possession, that if you would have not thrown the ball in the middle of the field and been stupid, probably would have won the game. Because then the Steelers would have had to play catch up. But since you didn't do that, the Steelers were up on you, so you had to play catch up. That's what hurts you the most. I put Detroit at 14, but I'm willing to change it.
Well, also their offensive line. I'm not entirely certain I trust their offensive line because they were letting Jackson get beat up last year. They led like 7 sacks to, I think, Detroit.
I can agree with that. I'm going to put Baltimore at 14. And I agree with you. I don't know how Jesse Minter is going to look. I mean, he's great defensively, but he wasn't good as a defensive coordinator that much last year. He was okay. People were saying, "Oh, Jesse Minter was this good, this." He was okay as a defensive coordinator last year. He wasn't all of that. You're losing a A+ coach to a B coach, I think.
Yeah.
Because now John Harbaugh also knew offense. John Harbaugh was good at both. That's going to be the problem here. And you hire Declan Doyle, who was a quarterback's coach, and then the year before he was an offensive coordinator, and he sucked as an offensive coordinator. And you're going to run a whole new system around Lamar when you had Todd Monken, who's the head coach of the Browns, who runs that read option style offense. But now you're going to have to run – Declan Doyle runs the air raid.
That's not going to work with Lamar Jackson.
It's not going to work with Lamar Jackson.
He's not that good of a passer. He's a running quarterback.
But he also runs the spread, too. So, I mean, Lamar can run the spread, but I don't know if he can run that air raid twist that Declan Doyle has.
Air raid doesn't even really work in the NFL in general.
No. We've seen it with Cliff Kingsbury, and it didn't work. And you see he's not a head coach anymore because of that.
He lives in Thailand or something like that now.
Yeah. I think it's very funny.
What I presume you're going to put Detroit next then?
No, I actually moved Detroit up because I agreed with you with putting them here. So my 13 team would have then been the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that they're, like you said, they're not going to be probably as good as they were last year, but you never know. They're the Jags. They're weird. They're a weird football team.
Yeah, that's what I don't like about them because
you don't know what you're getting with the Jacksonville Jaguars. But like I said, they did lose they did lose half of their offensive line. They're very young up there. They don't have their superstar running back. Byshell Tootin will be okay, but he's not Travis Etienne. So, and then your receiving room's got a little bit of issues if Brian Thomas Jr. gets hurt, Jacoby Myers gets hurt, Parker Washington. Who's going to fill in that void afterwards? And then if Brenton Strange goes down, who's going to come in at tight end? That's going to be your biggest issue. Can they stay healthy on offense?
Like you said, the offensive line is just a bit of a question mark.
It's abysmal.
All right. So then at 12, say I'd go with the Lions at 12. I think they've slid back a little bit, but they should still be one of the best teams in the country.
That's where I put the Lions as well. I just think losing Decker and then losing, having the problems with Terry and Arnold, losing defense to injuries. It's not their fault that they keep getting hurt, but those injuries is what's going to hurt. I would like to see how they can overcome that even without the injuries and with their players. I mean, they were a pretty good team last year, even with those injuries. They just kind of fell off the rails towards the end of the year with the offensive side of the ball. if they can figure out a way to get themselves clicking again on offense, I think this can be one scary team again for the Detroit Lions. But I agree with you. I have them at 12.
Here's where we get into the Super Bowl contenders just about.
All right, number 11 for me, I have the Green Bay Packers. Even though you're not going to have Micah Parsons until week 6, I still think this team is going to be tough to deal with. Offensively, you've got Jordan Love, you've got Jaden Reed, who I really like, who I really think's their true best receiver, because Christian Watson hasn't been healthy. So Jaden Reed can stay healthy and be their number one. I think Jaden Reed, they brought Christian Watson back on a massive extension. They brought Jaden Reed on a massive extension. And they still got Matthew Golden, who's going to be in that slot role for them this year probably. And then running back, you're still going to have Josh Jacobs, but he might get suspended for the first 4 games as well. But I don't know how they're going to – I don't know who's going to play for him, backup in him, because they lost their backup to Indianapolis. Their backup running back that was really good last year for them went to Indy, so I don't know what they're going to do at running back if Josh Jacobs gets suspended. Like, I really wanted them to go get a guy like Joe Mixon or some veteran guy like Kareem Hunt or somebody that's just, that can't really start anymore, but that can fill that void for Josh Jacobs. And I have a feeling they'll probably do that if they get a word, which they should get word in a couple weeks if he's going to get suspended. So I think we'll see in the next couple of weeks one of them running backs get signed to replace him for the first 4 games. But I also look at their offense is going to be phenomenal. I think Jordan Love leads the charge. It's just he can't get over the hump. I still think he needed an extra year under Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers left a little too early to help him more in his development. But I think if Aaron Rodgers stayed an extra year, Jordan Love would be absolutely insane right now. But I put them at 11. Who you got at 10?
At 10 exactly. I'm bumping between 2 that I still can't decide. It's either the 49ers or the Chargers.
I put the Chargers there.
Because I like both of these teams. My only thing is they both love to get injured. It's something about I don't know. It's just something about.
But it's also the Chargers' offensive line got better. So
yeah, they did get better.
I look at that and I'm like, okay, their defense isn't that good. That's why I'd probably put them at 10. But their
offense should be top 3 in my opinion.
But their offense should be top 5, no questions asked. I don't care if they get injured or not. They have offensive linemen to start and to back up to help Justin Herbert this year, so they should be okay. Their only big concern is, to me, it's not really on the offensive side, but it's the receiver. Just one receiver. Can Quentin Johnston play subpar decent like he did last year? Because if he can, they'll be okay. We know Ladd McConkey's their number 1. They got David Njoku at number 1 tight end. They got the fastest receiver in the draft, and that guy from Mississippi State. I think he's going to be utilized a whole lot. But I want to see how Quentin Johnston plays this year. Because, like, for me, it takes 3 years for a receiver, in my opinion, to really evaluate what they can do in the NFL. And this is going to be year 3 for him. So what can he do? Can he take that next step and be a true number 1? Because we know we all good know Ladd McConkey's their number 1 receiver, but he plays in the slot. So that's the issue here. Ladd McConkey's not going to be your big outside 50-50 ball guy like Quentin Johnston will. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I put them here at 10 only because their defense is their biggest concern to me. But they should have a top 5, top 3 offense next year.
Especially with the Marion Hampton in the backfield. He was
and that offensive line.
Yeah.
Number 9. Number 9, everybody in America is going to hate me. Everybody in America is going to hate me. I have the Seattle Seahawks here at number 9. And the only reason why is we know Jackson Smith and Jig was going to be good. But barring that, I mean, Rashid Shaheed was Cooper Kupp is old. What are you going to get? And then also, your best offensive weapon besides Jackson Smith and Jigba is now on the Kansas City Chiefs. The NFL Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker.
I was stunned they let him walk.
And you filled the void. You filled the void with a rookie backup running back at Notre Dame in Jadarian Price. I don't know how he's going to fit this system. And this is why I have them at 9. They lost a lot on defense. They lost like 3 or 4 pieces on defense. That's a huge, huge pieces on defense. They lost Kenneth Walker, their lead back. You got to replace him with a rookie. And we know you can't really evaluate rookies unless you know you're like Bijan, who's insane, Christian McCaffrey, or Saquon Barkley, or your Derrick Henrys. We can't really evaluate you unless you're like that. And maybe Jeremiah Love, but we don't know yet. But
yeah, I get what you're saying.
But Ashton Jeanty wasn't that good last year as a rookie. He's gonna be good this year. Trust me, he's gonna be good this year.
Well, also the Las Vegas got a little better too.
Yeah, but he's gonna be good this year. Trust me, he'll be good. And then I look at Jadarian Price is playing with a young offensive line who struggled last year. They might have been your Super Bowl champs. They might have been really tough to beat. But their offensive line was not that good last year. They were 5th in the league in sacks. They were 5th in the league they were 2nd in the league in the most pressures rushed and allowed, which is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But can they figure it out? I don't know. Sam Darnold's going to have to figure out how to get Jackson Smith and Jigba the ball, which he will. Jackson Smith and Jigba will be all right. But can the other guys step up? Cooper Kupp, who's old, can't do as much as he used to. And Rashid Shaheed is just fast. And then you don't really have a tight end. I mean, Barner, he was good for 4 games, fell off. Your backup tight end for him, good for 4 games, fell off. And then you have a rookie running back and Charbonnet, who's not going to be back until week 6. So, I trust Charbonnet because he's been there. He knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have him, so this is why I have them at 9. Number 8.
At 8, I think this is where I'm going to put the 49ers at. This feels like a pretty fair spot for them.
See, this is where I had the Giants, and it's only because who's going to stop Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Arvell Reese, and what's his name? What's the other guy's name? Carter. Who's going to stop them?
Like, it's like a 1 team, but they're in the NFC.
I know. I mean, we all know that, but who's going to stop them with adding 2 good corner pieces? You still have Javon Holland at safety. And you have second-year player Tyler Nubin, who was a steal for them at safety as well, who's really, really good. And they have 2 great linebacking pieces in Tremaine Edmonds and what's his name? The other guy who's really good. They're going to be fine. And you're coached by John Harbaugh. You get Isaiah Likely. You might not have Malik Neighbors. You're going to have Slayton, Odell, and probably Calvin Austin start the year for you at receiver until Malik Neighbors comes back.
And Scatterbo might also not start the year.
Which, I mean, they got Tyrone Tracy, which they'll be okay because he can get
Singletary.
He can get the job done. But John Harbaugh likes his weird running backs anyways. And they seem to always get the job done. So I think with having the experience of John Harbaugh is going to push this Giants team to the top. But my only concern is Jackson Dart, year 2. can he take that next step and be superstar quarterback? Because if he can, Giants are number 8. But I can't hate you with the San Francisco 49ers because I have them at 7. Their only issue with me is injuries. Injuries. Can they stay healthy? Because if they can stay healthy, I think they're a top 3 team in the NFL. Because who can stop Kittle at his best? Unless you're the one team that you know who's going to be number 1. Who can stop McCaffrey? Nobody can stop McCaffrey at his best. We've seen it happen. We've seen it happen. No one can stop him at his best.
As long as he doesn't get injured.
But he gets better with age. As we've seen over the years, he gets better.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
He gets better at, like Derrick Henry, he gets better as he gets older too. Which is crazy how these, running backs are supposed to be done at 30 and 31. Christian McCaffrey's about to be 32 and still getting 2,000 scrimmage yards a year. And you're like, how? How you do it? Because he's Christian McCaffrey. He's good like that. But adding Mike Evans to a weak receiving room with having Ricky Pearsall, and I also like the guy that they got from Mississippi State, who will help that room a lot. I mean, you lose Juwan Jennings, you lose Ayuk. I still think their room's gonna be a little bit iffy, but I think with the veteran presence of Mike Evans and having George Kittle healthy, having Christian McCaffrey, this team could be, like I said, a top 3, top 5 NFL team, but only because injuries and that offensive line concern to me is why I have them here at 7. You got it number 6.
At 6, people will probably not like this one, but I'm not super high on them anymore. I'm gonna say the Bills.
I don't hate you for it. I mean, I can see why you put them there. I have Minnesota at 6.
Yeah, if we're putting them that high, I would back up Minnesota at 6. It's just, I feel like the Bills might have already lost their bubble and are now just really good, but not good enough.
Well, honestly, I don't know if they've lost their bubble yet because we know that with Joe Brady coming in as their new head coach, Josh Allen's still there. They bring in DJ Moore, which is huge. Khalil Shakir can now play that slot role, which he's supposed to be playing anyways. Even though he's your number 1, I don't know how he was the number 1 receiver playing on the outside that small. I'll give him credit for it though. 1,000-yard receiver, a lot of touchdowns, a lot of receptions. I'll give it to him. You have Dalton Kincaid, you have Khalil Shakir, you have DJ Moore, you have James Cook in the backfield. You still have Dawson Knox as your tight end too. I think this team can be really good. I just think they need another wide receiver to help them out. And I'm looking at free agency. Why don't you go bring Stephon Diggs back? I mean, he doesn't have to be, what he used to be. All he has to do is catch the football. What is he good at? Catching the football. He don't drop the ball a lot. He catches the ball a lot. That's what you need. Someone to take the pressure off of DJ Moore, and he can take the pressure off of DJ Moore. Having Khalil Shakir in the slot, having Stephon Diggs, or even Deebo Samuel, someone who can just take the pressure off of DJ Moore. That's all you need. And then having Khalil Shakir in the slot would be phenomenal. But for me, I have Minnesota here. I just think we all have our issues about Kyler Murray and stuff like that. I'm not worried about Kyler Murray. Here's why I said this. This is why I have them at 6. Me and Bennett were talking about, if the Rams didn't draft Ty Simpson and they traded for Anthony Richardson, we were like, this would be the best thing to ever happen in the West Coast offense. And it has. It has. Trust me. You might not think so because it's Kyler Murray. And you're like, who's Kyler Murray? He not. Trust me. We have it. When you look at the West Coast offense, what is the quarterback like? He's a big guy that can pass the football, and they're not very mobile, right? But now you get a guy who might not be as tall, which he's not, but What can he do best? Run the football. You don't see that in a McVay, in a Shanahan, in a Kevin O'Connell system. You see them big guys that know how to pass the football, that are gunslingers like Matthew Stafford, Jimmy Garoppolo, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, part of that tree. Those guys can throw the football. But now you add a different type of element to this West Coast offense. Say if Kyler Murray plays subpar decent this year, that's going to be the new prototype for the West Coast offense. Because it didn't work with Shanahan with Trey Lance. But if Kyler Murray can figure just this much out, just a little bit, we're in for a rude awakening in the next 3 or 4 years because McVay's going to get off of Simpson and go, I want this guy to be in my system, like an Anthony Richardson or a Malik Willis, because they can use their legs, but then they can also throw. Yeah. Imagine that in a McVay system with all them pieces. That's unstoppable. And I look at it like Kyler Murray, yes, he has his ups and downs, but I think that's going to be an unstoppable piece to this West Coast offense. It's going to be different for Kevin O'Connell. He's going to be like, oh, I can do so many things I've never done before with Kyler Murray because he can run the football. And you also got Justin Jefferson on the outside. You added Jawan Jennings, a big threat. You got Jordan Addison, who's really good too in the slot. And TJ Hawkinson still at tight end. Aaron Jones is in the backfield. They have an offensive repertoire that is going to feed families in the NFL if they can click. It's all on the Kyler Murray. And they have a pretty good offensive line. They get Christian Darrisaw back, who was out last year with that ACL injury. Glad to have him back because he's an all-pro when he's healthy. And the defense led by Brian Flores, we know what he can do. He's probably the best, if not the second best defensive coordinator in football. So this is why I have them at 6. It's just, like I said, the issue is Kyler Murray or J.J. McCarthy. Either one. Yeah. Either one's got to step up for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then
we're now at number 4. We're going to say those are 6 and 5.
Well, my number 5 is Philly. Because we just did 6 and 7.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Philly. Yeah. I think there can still be a top dog, but they have to prove to me that they can throw the football down the field. Because we seen that last year. They took teams started figuring them out because, they would run the ball 90% of the time, and then they would pass then and on. So last year, people took away the run and tried to force them to pass, and it wasn't very good last year. I still think they do that same recipe, and not having A.J. Brown is going to be huge for the Eagles because you got to trust Devontae Smith, who's a slot guy, Mekhi Lemon, who I don't know what he's going to bring because he's a rookie, and then you've got to trust Romeo Doubs, who not been good for the Packers, but now he's there in Philly, so they're going to test you to pass the football next year, obviously, because they figured your shit out on in the run game, and I think they've really figured your shit out in the tush push because they're starting to put big people up there that can push it back. So I'm starting to think that they figured out that shit. So you're going to have to go back to old school passing football. Can they do it? I don't think they can. So I have them at 5 just because I still think they're going to be a top dog because that defense is absolutely insane. And their offensive line is still great. Jalen Hurts, can he get it done? Saquon Barkley's still back there. So I still think they'll be top 5 team in the NFL. Now we go to number 4.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna just disclaimer. I think 2, 3, and 4 can be organized in pretty much every way you want.
Yep.
I had the Eagles at 4. Similar thought process. I just had them a little higher than you did.
Yeah, I have the Pats at 4, the Super Bowl runner-ups.
Yeah, I put them at number 2.
And then I have the Bills at 3. And the only reason why I put the Bills at 3 was my concern about how lackluster that defense is going to look and that second piece at receiver. That was my only concern. That's why I have them at 3. I still think they're going to be a tough team to beat because, remember, if you don't have Mahomes being to the throne, I think they can beat Buffalo. They just didn't have a number 1 receiver last year. Or Denver. I think they can beat Denver. They lost to Denver because they didn't have a number 1 weapon.
Yeah.
I think they can beat Denver. I think they can beat New England. They've proven time and time again that they can beat New England. They can beat Denver. I don't know if they can beat the team that's going to be number 1.
Yeah.
But I think they can beat 2, 3, 4, and 5 that I have. Or 4, 5. Yeah, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Or, 2, 4, and 5. My fault. I think they can beat 2, 4, and 5. But until they find a number 2 receiver and they figure out their problems on defense, I put them at 3. And then 4 with the Pats, they got a tougher schedule. Last year they had an easy schedule. They were beating up on teams because it was so easy. And they got to the Super Bowl. Now, this is your chance to prove if you're a really good team. You add A.J. Brown. You add more defensive pieces. But you have a tougher schedule. You play like 7 of the top 10 teams to start the year. And then you finish with 3 of the top 10 teams to finish the year. So can you prove to me that you can beat those teams and still go the same record or be better? Because if you can do that, my thing will change. Like I said, I think it's interchangeable.
Yeah.
With 4, 3, and 2, but I have them at 4 for right now until I can see them being that top dog if they can beat these good teams.
Yeah. And then, of course, the one left in that is the Broncos, who are just solid all around.
Number 2 is the Denver Broncos to me. I thought this should have been the Super Bowl runner-ups, but they didn't have Bo Nix. I think they got 10 times better. They add another piece on offense. They got a good running back from Washington and Jonah Coleman, the rookie. They also got another piece in the receiving room. I want to see how he does. He's quite young, so I don't think he's going to be in that rotation of the 4. But eventually, you do think he will as he gets older in the league, like year 3, he's still on the team. I think he'll be in that rotation of 4 and be absolutely phenomenal. The only concern to me is tight end. I don't know who's going to play tight end for them. I think it's still Evan Ingram, but
yeah, but he's past his prime, but he's solid.
I still think they need to go after a tight end of some sort. But their defense is going to be phenomenal.
And then, of course, we have the football Avengers.
Who Aaron Donald looks like he's coming back as well. But number one's obviously the Rams. If they don't go 14-3 or 15-2, it's a letdown on their season. But I did see their schedule. It is pretty tough for the first 8 games, but there's still no excuse. I put them at 13-4. For me was my record prediction because I think they lose to they split with Seattle. I think they split with San Fran, like they usually always do. So that's 2 right there. I think they lose. I think they play Buffalo in a cold game. So
yeah.
I think they lose to Buffalo in the cold. And then they play Philly also in Philly in the cold. I think they lose it in Philly.
I think they'll also surrender their last game of the year too, let their starters rest.
Yeah. And
I had them at 15-2, but I can see 14-3.
I see my ceiling for them is 15-2. My floor is 13-4. Only because, like I said, I need to see how they do in those cold games. But going to Buffalo with all them fans and in the cold is going to be tough to beat. and then going to Philly is not a pretty. But they beat Philly. They beat Philly last year in Philly, so I think they can do that one. But it's Seattle and San Fran who you always lose. If you can beat them, you can beat them. Now we got something. They might go 17-0 if they can beat them. But I don't think that's gonna happen. The Rams
roster is just ridiculous.
They should be number one in offense and number one in defense.
They have like 7 of the top 10 players in the NFL, period, on the same roster.
Their biggest weakness is linebacker. And their left tackle, who's probably going to be suspended. So,
but then they went and got Myles Garrett for a ham sandwich.
And Aaron Donald's been working out at the facility.
If he comes back, it's over. They're going to storm their way to the Super Bowl.
But look! You go get Jalen Watson from the Chiefs, who was a great man corner. You get Trent McDuffie, which we know how good he is at corner. Their safety room is really good. Their linebacker room needs some help. But you also got Kobe Turner up front. You got, what's his name? The other guy. I can't think of his name. That's up front.
What, Poona Ford?
Yeah, you brought in Poona Ford from the defending champs. Poona Ford. You've got Kobe Turner. You're going to have Byron Young, who had 7 sacks last year. In year 2. Year 2. It's only year 2 for Byron Young. It's going to be.
He had 12 last year. You're thinking of his 2024 record.
Oh, I am. That was year 2. He had 12 sacks in year 2. Behind Jared Verse. And now he's going to have the sack leader, the all-time sack leader, and Myles Garrett at 23.5 sacks to help him. And then if they get Aaron Donald, you can't double Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett and Byron Young, who had 12 sacks last year.
Yeah, every running back's it's just every running back's nightmare.
Because look, you also have Kobe Turner and Aaron Donald and Poona Ford in the middle. Imagine just bringing them 3 out and Myles Garrett in like when you go goal line. You're not winning. Hell, they can stop the tush push. They can stop the tush push with that.
And their defensive backfield is just
is insane. Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson,
Kitchens,
Cam Kitchens at safety, Cam Curl. Who's in their nickel right now? Is it Jalen?
Quentin Lake.
Quentin Lake was good last year too, even though he was a safety. He was a safety last year. And he's now playing nickel because he's good. He's good at playing nickel. This team is going to absolutely be insane.
It's just, and not only that, but their kicker has a leg on a really.
Harrison Mevis can kick, and their punter can punt too. So this is a team for six. And Matthew Stafford is 37 years old.
Somehow he's playing the best he ever has.
Coming off of an MVP year.
I think he's going to go back-to-back MVP.
And people are saying you can't win an MVP that old. They always give it to young people.
I mean, that was the best season he had
he won it. He's the oldest player to win an MVP.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? He's the oldest player to win an MVP. At quarterback. He's the oldest quarterback to win an MVP. Because Rodgers won his last one at 30.
Oh, you're right. Wow, I didn't think about that.
Rodgers won his last MVP at 30. Matthew Stafford was what? How old is Matthew? 36? 37?
He's 38.
Matthew's 38?
Matthew Stafford is 38 years old.
So he won MVP at 37. Yeah, I'm looking it up. Matthew Stafford is the oldest quarterback to win MVP. Quarterback. He's not the oldest player to win MVP. He's the oldest quarterback to win MVP.
Out of curiosity, who's the oldest player?
Jim Brown.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Jim Brown was like 39 when he won an MVP. And Jerry Rice too.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about Jerry Rice with some of his stuff he got involved in.
But Jerry Rice and the other quarterback who would have been it. What's his name? Jerry Rice and the other quarterback who would have been it. Who would have been it. Jerry Rice and the other quarterback who would have been it. What's his name? 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 Oh, what's his name? the old Raiders quarterback that was like a journeyman for a long time.
Oh, I don't know who you're thinking of. Like I know who you're thinking of, but I can't think of his name.
He won. Oh, Rich Gannon. Rich Gannon.
Yeah.
Rich Gannon, who won it at like 34 or 30, 35 in like 2002 with the Raiders. He won. But Matthew Stafford's older. Matthew Stafford beat him by a year for MVP, which is absolutely insane.
It's just I don't know how the NFL let the roster get this stacked because even their backups are good.
How do they have this much money? look, I'm looking at it right now. How do they have this much money to pay?
Because they even have Blake Corum as the running back too.
And then their wide receiver 3 is Jordan Whittington, and they also have Demarcus Robinson on the roster too, I think.
They still have Tyler Higbee on their roster.
Yeah.
They got C.J. Daniels out of Miami. He's a rookie, but he was terrible.
He's going to be good for them. He's going to be good for them too. And then they have Ty Simpson as the backup court, or technically it's probably going to be Stetson Bennett, but
it's just this. And they have Terrence Ferguson as their tight end 3, which I am kind of stunned. He's sitting that deep in the depth chart when he could have gone somewhere and been a tight end 2.
Who's their tight end 2 right now?
Tyler Higbee.
Who's their tight end 1?
Their tight end 1, at least right now, it's reading is Colby Parkinson.
Oh no, he's their tight end 2.
The roster says he's the starting tight end.
Because Higbee's coming off an injury.
But even then, it's still just an insane tight end room.
Yeah. Higbee, you're going to have Devontae Adams, Jordan Whittington, Demarcus Robinson, C.J. Daniels, Puka, Kyron Williams, and Blake Corum in the backfield.
This is just a roster that is just absolutely maddening.
Now they have no. If they don't get to the Super Bowl, it's a letdown.
I think if they don't win it, it's a letdown with this type of
No, because things can happen when you get, shit happens. If they don't get to the Super Bowl, it's a letdown. Shit happens though. So,
but this is the best team that the NFL has seen since the prime Patriots, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just insane. Like, if Matthew Stafford wants to, he could probably put up 5,500 yards next year. Or this year, I guess.
Imagine he put up 48, 4,900 this year?
47. He's passed for 5,000 before. He could maybe make it 6,000, but I don't think they're going to. I don't know if you can really do that in the NFL.
So if he throws for 5,200, are you giving him the MVP?
I think you would have to. I mean, that would be up there, maybe even the greatest single season for a quarterback in NFL history.
There hasn't been a back-to-back quarterback MVP winner since like 2013.
I think he could do it. Well, who was the last one?
I think it was Aaron Rodgers.
Or was it Manning?
I think it was Rodgers who won back-to-back MVPs.
Because, I mean, I just think if he passes
because I think he won one. He won one in 2014, and then he won one in 2015.
Yeah, you're right. I have to go double check it, but
it might be Peyton though. But I don't think it's either Peyton or Rodgers. But no quarterback has won back-to-back MVP since Aaron Rodgers or Peyton Manning, which is absolutely insane.
But I think he'll do it if he passes for 5,200, 5,300 yards. That would have to arguably be the best single season for a quarterback in history. It wouldn't be the passing yards record. I think Peyton Manning still holds that, but
he does.
I think Manning threw at 5,500, but he could break it
easily
if they really want to. If they're swinging on all cylinders, he could legitimately go for 6,000 yards, in my opinion.
But you also got to think who Manning had when he won MVP that year. He had Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne. He had all those guys.
I really think there's, and if he passes for 6,000 yards in a single,
that's never been done before.
I think if it happens, it'll be with this team.
It has to be. It has to be with this team. And I'm cheering for Matthew Stafford. I'm cheering for the Rams this year to be the Super Bowl favorites because
I just think if Aaron Donald comes back, no one's stopping that team.
Look,
no one's stopping them.
I'm just tired of seeing the Chiefs tired of seeing New England. I'm tired of seeing Seattle. I'm tired of seeing Denver. I want 2 new teams in the Super Bowl playing against each other. Now, I don't know.
You might get the Rams
I want
and the 49ers or something like that.
You can't. I want the Rams.
Oh, yeah, right now. Okay, my bad.
I want the Rams and the Bills.
I want the Jaguars to win a Super Bowl with Trevor Lawrence.
Rams and imagine if the Jags go and they beat the Rams in the Super Bowl.
That there would be some, especially against that defense, there had to be some serious conversations about Trevor Lawrence being undervalued at that point.
I would think the 2 favorites is probably going to be Buffalo and the Rams to go to the Super Bowl, or Denver and the Rams probably are the favorites. Well,
yeah, I mean the Broncos might have the only other defense that's comparable to the Rams.
And Houston does. But
Houston too.
Houston does, but I don't think they're going to get there because of CJ Stroud.
Offense.
They're CJ Stroud. And the injuries to the offense. But we will see. But thank you, Zach. It's been an honor. I hope we can get another show next time.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be available for your whatever the next one is.
We'll try to get Bennett back because he's been working like from 4:30 to 1, so he's been tired, been sleeping. So, well, this has been Inside the Cage. I'm your host Brady Johnson. Here with me, Zach, and we will see y'all next time. Peace.